Welcome to The Explainer. If you're a CFO, a finance executive, or a procurement leader looking to seriously maximize your enterprise liquidity, well, you are in exactly the right place today. We're breaking down the complete guide to Order-to-Cash and Procure-to-Pay. Specifically, we're looking at how modern enterprises are totally transforming these areas for 2026. For the longest time, let's be honest, these were just seen as purely administrative, back-office tasks. But today, they're the strategic pillars of enterprise finance. We're going to dive right into how unifying your O2C and P2P processes can actually become the ultimate catalyst for your strategic financial transformation and long-term business growth. Let's get into it.
Here's our roadmap for today. First up, driving liquidity through O2C and P2P. Second, modernizing those legacy finance workflows. Third, accelerating with strategic partners. Then, essential KPIs for process efficiency. And finally, we'll look at the autonomous finance future.
Okay, Section 1, Driving Liquidity, O2C, and P2P.
It's really time we stop looking at these as isolated tasks. Instead, think of them as the twin engines that power your entire enterprise's financial health. On one side, you've got Order-to-Cash, or O2C. This is your revenue engine. It manages the whole life cycle, literally from the second a customer places an order right down to that final payment collection. So we're talking credit checks, automated invoicing, and intelligent cash application. The main goal here, accelerate that incoming cash flow and totally minimize revenue leakage. Now, on the flip side, we have Procure-to-Pay, or P2P. This is your ultimate control mechanism for outgoing cash. It kicks off with purchasing goods and wraps up with supplier payment, prioritizing spend control, procurement efficiency, and of course, compliance. So, one engine brings the money in, and the other very carefully manages how it goes out.
But here is the really crucial part. What actually happens when you bring these two ecosystems together? When you unify O2C and P2P into one single data-driven finance operation, you aren't just getting incremental little improvements, you get compounding benefits. Unifying these functions gives you absolutely unprecedented working capital visibility. Because you're perfectly aligning that incoming revenue with your outgoing liabilities, your cash flow forecasting suddenly becomes incredibly accurate. And you know what that means. Faster, much smarter financial decision-making, significantly reduced financial risk, and way stronger compliance controls right across the board. It's a total game changer.
Section 2, Modernizing Legacy Finance Workflows. Now, understanding why we need unification is one thing, but actually escaping the black hole of legacy systems, that's a whole different story. Take a look at this quote because it perfectly illustrates the elephant in the room. Many multi-billion-dollar enterprises are still held together by an alarming number of spreadsheets and emails. It's funny because it's just painfully true, right? Even today, manual processes are absolutely plaguing massive organizations. This heavy reliance on paper-based approvals and disconnected ERPs creates terrible friction. We're talking delays, costly errors, crazy high operational costs, and practically zero scalability. It is literally the enemy of real-time visibility.
So, how exactly do we fix it? Well, by following a practical step-by-step modernization roadmap. Step 1 is investing in intelligent automation. You've got to replace that manual human effort with raw speed and accuracy. Step 2 is building those unified finance operations we were just talking about, aligning your treasury strategies and optimizing cash management. Step 3, implement real-time analytics. Leaders need to be monitoring live dashboards, not waiting around for a month-end report to tell them what happened 30 days ago. And finally, Step 4 is strengthening your governance frameworks. Think automated audit trails and strict policy-based approvals to guarantee operational resilience. Let's look at how this actually translates into your technology stack. The heavy lifting for this modernization is really done by 3 specific technologies: AI, RPA or robotic process automation, and IDP, which is intelligent document processing. AI is what enables your predictive collections and smart approvals. Then RPA steps in to take over those soul-crushing, repetitive tasks, the data entry and reconciliation stuff. And IDP? Well, that's the magic that extracts and validates invoice data with massive accuracy. When you put these technologies together, they completely eliminate manual dependency. They enable what we call touchless processing, where an invoice or an order moves from start to absolute finish without a human ever needing to intervene.
Moving on to Section 3, Accelerating with Strategic Partners.
Look, sometimes trying to build all of this entirely in-house is just way too slow. To speed up digital adoption, you might look outward. Let's evaluate the top 3 service providers in Procure-to-Pay right now, looking strictly at their core capabilities. First up is WNS.
They are recognized globally for their AI-enabled P2P services. Their core strengths are really in hyperautomation, embedded analytics, and highly tailored CFO-focused transformation frameworks. Next, we have Accenture, who are known for massive enterprise-scale transformation, heavily supported by cloud and AI technologies. And third is Genpact. They provide deep digital finance transformation with a really strong focus on intelligent automation and analytics-driven accounts payable operations.
Now, if you are evaluating an outsourcing provider to accelerate your journey, you need a very strict rubric. You shouldn't just be looking for a standard processing factory. You need to assess their actual automation maturity, like can they truly deliver that touchless processing we talked about? You also need to verify their ERP integration experience, their advanced analytics capabilities, and their global delivery models. But maybe most importantly, you need to look for outcome-based pricing structures. A true strategic partner should be totally willing to tie their compensation directly to the real efficiency and financial outcomes they're delivering for your organization.
All right, Section 4, Essential KPIs for Process Efficiency. Strategic transformation is totally meaningless if you can't measure it, right? You need rigorous performance tracking to make sure these new intelligent workflows are actually delivering ROI. So let's start with the absolute North Star metrics for any CFO, DSO and DPO. Days Sales Outstanding measures how long it takes to actually collect revenue after making a sale. Obviously, you want this number as low as possible. On the flip side, Days Payable Outstanding measures how long it takes you to pay your suppliers. Usually, you want to optimize this so you can hold on to your cash longer, but obviously without damaging your supplier relationships. Together, DSO and DPO are the ultimate metrics for balancing your cash flow, protecting your working capital, and making sure your cash flow is highly predictable. But to actually pull the levers that improve your DSO and DPO, you've got to look under the hood. This right here is the exact dashboard a modern finance leader should be monitoring. First, you need to track your touchless processing rate to prove your automation is actually doing its job. You need to keep an eye on invoice cycle time to gauge your real processing speed. Then, cost per invoice tells you if your day-to-day operational efficiency is actually improving. And finally, payment accuracy. This is absolutely critical for monitoring compliance and, of course, preventing fraud. These specific operational KPIs are the essential building blocks of your broader financial success.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the Autonomous Finance Future.
We've spent a lot of time talking about where we are today and how to modernize, but let's pivot and look at the final destination of this maturity curve. The organizations that are investing in intelligent finance transformation right now are preparing for a radically different landscape. When we look at the trends shaping 2026 and beyond, we are moving way past simple automation into truly autonomous finance operations. We're talking about things like AI-powered collections agents that can literally negotiate with your customers, predictive procurement orchestration that orders supplies before humans even realize there's a shortage, real-time cash intelligence that entirely replaces the need for delayed month-end reporting. We're even seeing the rise of blockchain-enabled finance workflows for absolute, undisputed transaction security. This right here is how you build a real competitive advantage in the modern era.
Which really just leaves us with this final, absolutely crucial thought. Order-to-Cash and Procure-to-Pay are no longer just the back office. They are the actual front line of enterprise resilience. So the big question you need to ask yourself and your leadership team today is this: is your finance organization ready to become a connected, intelligent, and autonomous engine for growth, or are you going to be left trying to manage tomorrow's highly complex economy with yesterday's spreadsheets? Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. Keep learning, keep transforming, and I will see you next time.